Welcome to another Legion stream here. We've got ourselves tonight two world champions, one of Jank, one of actual Legion. As we're playing Luke Cook versus Mitro. Mitro from my team, Luke Cook from the Admin Menace. Let me kill my Mega Man music there. It looks like they just vetoed out Sabotage. They have Breakthrough and Intercept left. They have Advanced, Major, and Battle Lines. Then they have Hostile, Clear, and Minefields. So none of the things that I'm sure Mitro wants. Intercept is not terrible, but for both players it works out pretty okay. In terms of this, I don't know what Mitro would want. Probably I would eliminate Hostile, simply because he's going to be facing down a lot of incoming fire of the suppressive type from these two units right here, plus Bosk. So last thing I want to do is probably take that, and yes, just like that, he vetoes out Hostile, so Advanced, Hostile, Sabotage, and I don't remember the other one got vetoed out. So while they set that up, I'll go ahead and change out the settings here real quick on my map display, so that way we have it. And then we'll go over the lists. So they have Intercept. They have Major Offensive. And Clear. Well, I can't quite get that in, so we'll modify that slightly. Simply because I have too much shit on my screen. Well, oh well, it is what it is. There we go. We'll do that. That gets the point across. Everyone knows what that is. Oh, Luke Cook is playing your list there, 4-4. Really? Because it looks like it is Battle of the Jank against Battle of the Jank going on here. So we'll go ahead and cover that real quick here while we wait for them to get all set up. So it looks, as I'm coughing up along here. Oh, there we go. Well, that was not one to work. Now it is. Alright, so for Mitro, playing for my team, we have Jyn Erso with her configuration. So she's probably going to come out strong in the center, try and hold everything down there, and probably try and get into close combat because she is suppressive and does a lot of good things there. She's very tough to uproot from her position, but we'll see if she can weather the storm against what's coming. Han Solo, on the other hand, is going to come in with his recon intel, so he's going to get a nice little boost to get up there quicker. He has improvised orders, and what's going to be nice is his Pierce 2. That's going to be huge coming into this battle. Next up is Chewie with Hunter, so he's going to be getting rerolls on his shots and on his swings, depending on if he already has a wound, but the fact that he has Guardian, he'll be likely pulling wounds from all the different sources, trying to build up a little bit of damage on him to get him to start swinging, especially once you get him into enraged status. That's really where you want him. Then we have a whopping 2 Z6 squads and a naked Rebel Trooper squad. Then we have a completely decked out Pathfinder squad here with Duck and Cover, which basically gives them an additional suppression if they want to dodge things. They get HQ uplink, so they'll always have their token on them as long as they recover. They'll have Recon Intel, which gives them Scout 1 on top of their infiltration. They have the configuration, so they'll be able to do what they want with the configuration. And they have Biston, who gives a gigantic impact weapon here, and Ion, which is not going to come in handy, but the dice pool, on the other hand, is really nice. Plus, it's another body, if worse comes to worse. So it's going to be, 4 white and a black on top of their already 2 white, which I'm assuming he's also going to go with the other configuration, which is long range, giving him a black. However, 1 to 3 with 2 white, that's really good. That's a lot of dice. Not to mention they are dauntless, which is great because they can just move if they're suppressed. And then the danger sense, meaning that they get just extra dice to work with. Oh, and Mitt already disconnecting. So now we have the air that is what everyone's talking about. Some textures seem to be missing. So I have a set of snipers here, 2 sets of snipers. One seemed to have loaded correctly. The other did not, so we'll see how that comes out on their end. Then on Luke's side of the board, so we're going from 9 activations to 8, which is kind of wild if you want to look at it that way. So what we have on the World Champion side is we have Krennic, who's running improvised orders, just in case he doesn't want to pull a token that he does, along with electro binoculars, so giving Krennic spotter ability, giving him the ability to actually do stuff. So that'll be pretty huge, since he can actually start going with spotter instead of just the typical like standby. Alright, and then we have Bosk with Hunter and Recon, so not going with Stims, instead going with the extra movement, which might pan out pretty well. Bosk, however, very susceptible to any large amount of firing, so that's going to be interesting to see how Luke plays him, especially without the buffer that is Stims, and with some of the, what are they? The infiltrators with the Rebels, both Jyn and the Pathfinders. They can easily get within range to really tear down Bosk right away. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And then we have 2 sets of Death Troopers identically kitted with DLTs, Recon, and the Focus Fire config. But I'm sure he probably means long range, but we'll find out if he wants the long range or the short range. It looks like he probably does want to focus fire, so that's good. Then a short stack of the Royal Guards here with E-Stims, so you're going to see 3 of them able to get in close combat and probably pull wounds off of the DTs. Then we have 2 Medic DLT squads, and then a DLT with Recon. So a really interesting 8 activation list against a really interesting 9 activation list. So we're seeing Jank against Jank, which is interesting. I guess he didn't want the range 4 on the DLTs, or on the DTs for, or was it range 3 rather, for their standby by giving them Overwatch. So instead he changed it out for some other things. But I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Hey, he has a plan, he's going to stick with it, and we're going to find out what it is. Likely he might want to start slowly marching them up along with the Royal Guard and just see what happens there. But we'll have to find out. As it looks at the moment, it looks like Krennic is actually coming out early, so that might telegraph where we're going to see some of the Death Troopers. Now the interesting thing is there are no snipers to respond to the whopping 2 that Mitro has, but hey, those snipers can become important when they start picking away at Death Troopers and the Guard, because that Pierce is going to be pretty huge, taking out the Surge to defend for the DTs. So that will be pretty impressive. So we'll have to see how things go as they set up and see where they go. So they're looking to play the intercepted transmissions, so we're going to see them in the center and on their home bases. So can't let them forget about the home base objectives, because otherwise they're going to lose out. So likely have to have a singular Stormtrooper squad here, and likely just a random Rebel squad over here just holding the points while everyone else seems to go and do other things. So I would place my Naked Trooper squad on this objective and put all the other Z6s kind of wrapping around, likely hard charging right into here and going towards the center. Probably coming up and also from this side, just charging around the comms tower. Also to probably take away this the wall for cover. I'd pretty much effectively ignore this one, but that's just me. In terms of Luke, I would do roughly the same thing, just have a DLT squad sitting back here. Hell, I'd probably even have a sniper squad sitting back here. But since that's not an option, have pretty much everything stacked here and have it charged to the center and just fight it out in the center port area here. Maybe have Royal Guards run around this side. Potentially you're going to be allowing your DTs to take wounds by doing that, but that might not be terrible. Have them go run on a quick assault mission around that way, as well as have those Death Troopers. That's a good question where I'd put them. I guess you could put them here, because range 4 would get you to this line here from this corner. So it might not be bad to just stuff them here and have them be in long range reserve covering this area. Or you could just have them here stacked up and firing directly into it. I don't know. There's lots of good options. Tons and tons of good options, especially since they have a Recon 1 move. So we see, 4 Stormtroopers already out in Krennic. And we see 4 of the Rebel Troopers here. Now we're going to see Jyn Erso get deployed. Looks like she's going out right over here. Probably needs to be, outside of 2 or 3? Looks like 3, so she's going to have to get pushed back pretty far. I think that it might have been a little too late to deploy the Pathfinders way so far up, especially to get them in this heavy cover, because that would have been great to put them right in here and just have them continually fire out with their all their dice. However, that said, they'd be withering a lot of shots. We'll have to see what happens. It looks like Mitro keeps getting disconnected, but it looks like he's pretty set on that deployment here. So we're going to have to probably break for a little bit while he gets reconnected. And then on the other hand, we're going to see probably Luke have to decide if he wants to put out Bosk or the DTs, or if he wants to just go ahead and throw out the roll guard and go with something a little different with that. So we'll go ahead and wait and see what happens here, and of course wait for Mitt to reconnect. In the meantime, we're just going to have to wait and see. I don't know what he's going to do with those Pathfinders now that he lost the ability to plant them right in that heavy cover. He can put them near Jin and have them wrap around, but putting them in that heavy cover right off the gate would have been really, really nice. But I don't know if that would have been possible because I think this group of Stormtroopers was deployed first, so that really took away the majority of this terrain right there. Alright, so with that said, Mitro will hopefully reconnect here eventually. Mitro having a little bit of computer issues, but not the worst thing in the world. Plop him near Jin. Yeah, that was my thinking too, Thrawn. So Yavin Base Team League is run, of course, by Yavin Base, Endless, in the Discord channel. He is the administrator of the league. Will be streaming a game later tonight, and I will, of course, raid into him whenever that's done. So it looks as though they're probably on Discord talking to each other, and are. It seems as though Mitro gave Luke the okay to go ahead and go with the next deployment if he so chooses to. And it looks like they're both in the same channel, so yes. He likely gave him the verbal okay to keep going. So we're seeing some DTs be deployed over here, which is not a terrible spot at all, especially if he wants to get the leader just slightly ahead to give him better range, and then plop some of them back here behind this cover. That wouldn't be too terrible. And that also would give him great range to pretty much this corner, which would really take away the ability to capture this point without being exposed to the Death Troopers. And there he is, reconnecting. 4-4 asking Thrawn if you're going to Gen Con. I believe the answer was no, if I remember correctly, that he is not able to go. Alright, so looks like the Death Trooper is going to go ahead and take their recon move. Placing them in an interesting position over here. All lined along this building, which is not terrible. And they are outside of range of medics, but that can easily be rectified in a later move, as well as the fact that the Royal Guard can be placed pretty much right back here and be able to pull wounds left and right without being exposed themselves. That said, this gives a great opportunity for the snipers, one to be placed pretty much right. Well, if he places them anywhere over here, they're still going to get heavy cover. But placing them up here is not terrible. It does give him great line of sight. He doesn't have to worry too much about anything being rained down on him. So you can go ahead and just place him up here. I'd actually move them further over this way, so that way they get better lines over this way. But, however, it means that anything sitting back on this side of the building capturing this point is going to do it pretty much uncontested. So this would be a point where maybe you put one group of snipers up here and another group of snipers back here. See if you can't tuck one nice behind the tree cover here, and then leave the other one slightly exposed, getting really nice shots at the Death Troopers. However, range 4... they'll likely have it all the way to those scouts. You could argue, well, there's not many great options, I'll put it that way. They'll always be able to be picked off by the Death Troopers based on how far the Death Troopers moved up and what's left of this deployment here. So getting those Death Troopers in the open doesn't seem very likely. Alright, and it looks like those scouts are pretty happy where they're at, so you're going to next see probably the next set of Death Troopers coming from Luke. 4-4, and Thrawn talking about LVO, of course. LVO will be interesting come late January 2020. I know I will be there. It seems as though my entire team is going to be there, from what I understand. Ah, so the other set of Death Troopers also getting deployed here. So then we will likely see the Royal Guard get plopped over here as well. Everyone taking advantage. Oh, or not. Changing his mind. Maybe he'll put them on the other side of this building. Kind of in the same fashion where one's just going to be placed ahead, and then the rest lining this building, giving them great sight lines and great range to cover this objective. It's going to be very hard to uproot these Death Troopers. Even in close combat, they are really good. So it will be interesting to see how they play and how Mitro intends to respond to them. Luke Cook, of course, world champion, so he definitely has a few tricks up his sleeve, especially with this list, I'm sure. Alright, and taking that move. Giving him range 2 to that objective. And range 4, pretty much right about to where these guys are. Really blocking out the Pathfinders. They might be able to be deployed somewhere back in this area here. The snipers up here able to see them, however, they're going to have hard cover because the building is concealing all their bases. So at least the snipers can see them. It's not great, but it's a thing. However, with all the medics here, I likely would suspect that the Death Troopers are going to be fine for at least the first few rounds, especially once we see where the Royal Guard go. Again, I'm thinking somewhere back in here. Well, they don't have recon, do they? They do not. So they might just get plopped right here to pull wounds off, especially with E-stems. Han Solo getting deployed. Nice back here where he's out of line of sight from everybody. He can charge up really quick to assist Jin as needed. Probably pop around the corner and start really laying into the Death Troopers. If there's one thing the Death Troopers fear most, it is very much Han Solo and his Pierce 2. Because any shots he lands is just going to go right through their armor, taking him out. And that 3-up save is going to be pretty much irrelevant. So Han Solo really the crux of this list at the moment. Of course, also the giant pool of die that you're going to see coming out of the Pathfinders here once they get deployed. Because you're looking at what? If they were to stick with the... Sure, the short config is nice. If they were to stick with a giant handful of dice, you're going to see, what? 8, 10, 12 white, 1 black. That is a lot of dice with a lot of chances to hit. I mean, that's still pretty crazy. Especially with it being 3 out of 8 sides that are going to hit. I'd take the 12 pool over the short range config, to be honest with you. That's going to be massive. It's going to be a lot of dice. But we'll have to see how effective they are and how they get played and what they can do. So, Royal Guard getting deployed here. Looks like they're just getting spread out across the whole grouping here. Looks like they're going to be pulling a lot of wounds from any fire that's coming in this area. These guys over here, likely to get ignored for a little bit of time. Of course, we still have yet to see the Pathfinders, another sniper, and Chewie get deployed. So Chewie getting thrown out there. He also has Pierce 1, doesn't he? It'd be Han. Yeah, he has Pierce 1 and 2 red, 2 white. So that'll be really interesting to see how he comes into effect here with his shooting. I would likely suspect you're going to see him firing at the Death Troopers a lot as well. And eventually probably working his way into melee because 4 red is nice. Despite the fact that he is not getting the Pierce. Still, that's going to be a lot of hits. Jin, however, she definitely wants to be in close combat if possible. Even with short range, or with her pistol config, that is not too terrible. 2 red, white, and Pierce 1 is pretty nice, and she can fire at every turn. So, you might see her do some heavy work too. Death Troopers are really going to be susceptible to the sheer amount of Pierce that Mitro has. So Luke's going to have to really play to mitigate that. It's going to be interesting because out of all the things that that Mitro has, what is it? Half of it has Pierce, half of it doesn't, but the half that doesn't just throws a bucket of dice at somebody. So even then, you're going to see a lot of dice having to be rolled defensively, and that's the one way to defeat things with nice saves, is just throw a lot of dice at them, and they'll eventually fail 1 or 2. So it looks like he's quickly looking to see where things can be deployed in terms of where you can see the Pathfinders be deployed. You see Boss getting thrown way back here. He's going to be able to shift a lot of wounds onto the Royal Guard as well. But looks like he's getting a nice little position over here by himself. Going to see his Dioxys come into real great effect over here in the center, I imagine. Why does he have the purple leader hanging out like that? Over here, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Possibly as a line of sight thing for anything that would be deployed here. Potentially to get quick line of sight into anything that's coming around the range of this building, because even if he were to fire with just the leader, that's still 2 suppression if he hits. So, any number of reasons. So looking to see where the range 3 band puts him. Looks like he can deploy the Pathfinders here. He can deploy the Pathfinders over here. Or he can just deploy in his deployment zone. Also an option.
Hello there.
Thank you for the follow, by the way, Drizzle. Or Dr. Rizzle, rather. Much appreciated. You could even see the Pathfinders deploy all the way back here and cause some serious havoc in the backfield. That might be a really strong move. Put the Pathfinders back here. And thank you for the follow, by the way. Oh, Jesus, everyone their name. If you could put the Pathfinders back here, especially if you were to put them back, say, here, behind this heavy cover, man, that could be pretty devastating. That'd be a lot of... Well, that's probably a quick way to get them to die. That'd be silly. I don't know. Yes, this is Star Wars Tabletop. It is a new miniature wargaming game, well, year old, from Fantasy Flight Games called Star Wars Legion. This is part of a team league that's going on currently. This is week 2 of the team league. We're seeing the current world champion play the champion of jank lists. So you're seeing some really high-end play from one player and some really crazy out-of-the-box play from another player. Alright, now we're seeing... Oh, Jesus. Well, these snipers are going to be really fun to find out how I'm ever going to commentate them, because they're just little tiny dots. I guess good luck to everybody. Hopefully they die quick and fast, because otherwise I have no idea how to commentate that. And this is part of the problem that people are complaining about with TTS missing textures with the new update. You can see that it's like, makes no sense, to be honest with you. Makes no sense at all. I can't even begin to explain it. So, yeah. We'll just see what happens. So we're getting a full range 2 move, or speed 2 move here, out of their recon move here. So you're saying that there was a, yeah, so you're thinking that he was baiting this background deployment here. You don't think Keegan will take advantage of it? Don't know. No, Thrawn, that's not Flubber. We're just gonna ban you for 10 minutes real quick. Where's my stream bot here? Timeout. Oh, nope, guess I'm not gonna time out Thrawn. Oh well. Wait a minute. Is that the... He really did deploy a full commando? Holy crap. Oh, it's actually a full commando unit, not just the sniper. That's insanity. If he can bosk, he will. This is insanity. He is a full commando unit. I didn't even see that. So apparently this list won 4-4 in RPQ. Where's that RPQ at that you won with this list? Because that's nuts. Because I would not have thought that a 8 activation... Oh, someone else won it with that list. Gotcha. Interesting. Because usually, when you go that low on activations, you really are playing down because other people can play with so many more activations on you, and that makes a huge difference when they have 3 activations left and you have none, especially when it comes to DTs and snipers. Anyway, it looks like a full commando unit just got deployed. That's insanity. I cannot believe he had a full commando unit. That is absolutely crazy. So that actually changes the calculus quite a bit, because now this whole unit is going to sit here and just pop shots pretty much right here. Ooh, and it looks like we're seeing the Pathfinders get deployed out. Looks like they're going to be just shy of the heavy cover here. However, they are putting themselves in a position where the Death Troopers are going to be staring right at them. I don't know if that's a really good position for them. They might want to be deployed pretty much against this back heavy cover here. Well, it's only light. So infiltrate into the heavy cover might not be terrible. I didn't realize these sandbags were only light, so that could be very dangerous. Of course, he can be putting them out here, so hoping to get the first activation, thus just lighting up these Death Troopers with that bucket of dice, which could be a possibility. And that might be what he's doing. Yeah, because he's now within range 3 of these Death Troopers. He is in the open, so it's not the best of ideas. However, well, even lead light cover, I'd still put him here. Just so that way they don't get as torn up. But, man, all those dice going at these Death Troopers here, there's a good chance they can get wiped out. That is a giant... That's going to be a giant Alpha Strike. You're right if he goes, sorry about the mess, and then Alpha Strikes him. I think that's going to be the turn 1 move that we're going to see. I think you're right, Thrawn. We're going to... Oh, and there we go. There's the, them taking advantage of the light cover. And yeah, you're going to see likely a Alpha Strike. Not a terrible idea. He will likely need the aims, but that's not the worst thing in the world. And of course, all these snipers and commandos here can easily start firing at these Death Troopers. Yeah, so this position here is likely better than plopping them back here. Well, I don't know. The rear deployment back here could have been really interesting. It would have been an interesting ploy. I don't know if it would have worked. So it looks like they're both ready to start. They need to probably pull in all their tokens here and get ready. And like Thrawn said, I think we might see, sorry about the mess, immediately into the HQ and then the Alpha Strike. So what is Luke going to do? I don't know. Or alternatively, and get this, Thrawn, what if he does a reckless diversion right out the bat and throws it on like this trooper group back here? Nope, sorry about the mess, Alpha Strike. You're right. And deploying the garrison, he's going to put it on 2 troops. Likely his medics, so that way he can control when they deploy. Oh, putting it on Bosk, eh? Okay, Bosk and both Death Troopers. So that way they get the free aim. So he's going to double tap with the commandos. That's fair. The tiny dots are indeed the commando squad. However, that said, this is one of the errors that we're currently seeing with TTS. Is the sometimes they appear normal for some people. For me, they appear as just little dots. So, Han Solo getting his. Alright, and there you go. And everybody loading up with their tokens. He did entourage him. Yeah, see? He went with Bosk, Death Trooper, Death Trooper. Alright, time for 12 white dice and a black die. This is insanity. Wow. Welp, and that's the Alpha Strike for you. Out of the 12, he got 3. But he did kill 2 Death Troopers, so that is actually not terrible. Out of all of that, I mean, that's white dice for you. I would have suspected at, well, no. I mean, if you're looking for 3 out of 8, that does seem about right for the averages that you should see on those white dice. That said, I would have liked to see a little better, but the white dice are so finicky. He did roll about what you would have expected there. Not great, but I think slightly below average. I think you should have seen probably 4 hits. However, getting 2 kills out of it, not terrible at all, to be honest with you. So now we're going to go ahead and see these guys retreat. Get as far back as they can, even though I don't think it's going to matter too much. Try and get as many out of the range as they can, or at least behind heavy cover. However, I don't think it's going to help. I don't think they're going to be able to get out of line of sight because of all the commandos sitting right here. Cohere on some dots. Yeah, the problem is going to be these commandos right here. I cannot see like their bases at all, so I have no idea how they're going to work out. But he has the right idea, putting as many as he can out of line of sight to try and get heavy cover in return fire. So that worked out. That was a lot of dice that kind of didn't pan out how he probably wanted them to, but he will make do. So Biston expired, HQ uplink expired. He might have been better off just recovering right there, but it's fine as is. He has a plan, probably to get back out of range of the DTs, because otherwise those DTs would just lit him up standing still, and that would have been not a good thing. You would have aimed and fired? I would have aimed and fired as well. Well, even just re-rolling 2 dice would have been just okay. Yeah, duck and cover into heavy would have been nice. Yeah, I think aim and fire would have been the best bet, or just fire and recover, so that way he can use HQ uplink again next turn. But it was probably going to be okay. So moving everything out over here so that he gets a full view of him, it looks like, with the Death Trooper. However, it will be heavy cover shooting through these woods. Going to see if 8 activations can take on 9 activations, especially with all this suppression coming out. Will be interesting. Alright, so looks like he's going to fire right into the commandos. Because they have not activated yet, so it makes sense to go ahead and try and take them out quickly. So heavy cover. Getting 4 hits, but the ability to re-roll the ones that have missed, because he can re-roll up to 4, I believe. Wow, ends up getting all 7 hits. So that will knock it down to 5. So that entire squad at risk. Protecting 2. So out of that, all that's left is the sniper and the leader. Oh no, looks like he did actually lose the sniper with that. Great shooting by Luke there to take out the sniper, because this one guy over in the back side here was not exposed. So all those hits had to go to the commander, the sniper, and everyone else. So rolling the way he did, he lost a sniper already. That is kind of big, because now this commander unit is, I don't want to say irrelevant, but it certainly is not going to do a whole heck of a lot. So, debating if he wants to use the Special Forces token. I'm sure had the sniper survived, he would have. But now he's probably going to go with this sniper over here. He could aim and fire at the sniper, or the DT leader over here, thus making them unrecoverable, which would be great. So Luke taking a really great shot, getting all the hits he needed, even through heavy cover, and then with all the failed saves, really taking out one major threat almost immediately. So it looks like he is indeed going to be firing at the DT squad here. Only one guy is at risk. He's going to be heavy cover, which is fine. because all he needs to do is take out that leader. He's looking for 2 hits or a crit. That will do it to take out that Death Trooper. Having an aim is going to help. And like that, he gets 2 hits, and that is the Death Trooper leader. So he will swap out for one of the guys back there. He just accidentally swapped it out for the DLT. Interesting. And that means that it is not... one model out of this group is not recoverable now, based on the fact that... there he goes. He fixed it. Making the mistake of picking up the wrong model, not a problem. So, with that said, now, no matter what Luke does, at least one of these Death Troopers is perma-dead. That said, there's still more that can really pop some of these Death Troopers here, but we'll find out what happens. Still a little early in the game. It's only turn 1, and is already a giant bloodbath. 2 units being reduced to pretty much bare minimum here. Alright, so we're seeing blue over here activate. They do indeed have a medic. Well, that's because Ghostwalking, we're seeing a lot of really off-meta lists, and because of that, we're seeing a lot of things that are just completely crazy happen. So you're getting a lot of people who want to go super aggressive super early, and we're actually seeing a lot of games end early, as opposed to games lasting very long. So everyone's super aggressive, everyone's playing like really off-meta and really kind of super janky stuff. So it's kind of interesting to see what they do. So this is going to sound crazy, but if I was Luke here, I would probably fire at the remaining 2 commandos to try and eliminate that activation, because this squad can see both. Because this commander can likely see this guy's base, and then the rest of the squad can see this guy's base. So it's tempting to fire at them. Firing at the Pathfinders would be irrelevant. So it looks like they're going to take an aim, and indeed going to fire at, yep, exactly what I thought he was going to do. Trying to eliminate out those commandos before they even have a chance to activate. Taking a activation off the board right off the get-go. Alright, here you see a bunch of shots happen. Woof. Right out the bat, 5 hits. That is devastating. So 5 hits down to 3. So likely we're going to see that squad eliminated here without some good... and there we go. Squad completely eliminated. So that is the commander unit before it even activated. That is right off the bat 60 and 28. So 88 points already eliminated before it even gets to activate. Not even getting a shot. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. However, but they're all being super aggressive. I'm sure Mitro would have loved to see those white dice right there from his Pathfinders on the DTs. But again, getting 2 kills from the DTs right off the bat, not terrible. And we see Invader League going ahead and cheering on Luke here. I mean, teams got to cheer on their own teams. So LJ cheering on his team. I think LJ should subscribe to me because, of course, I somehow magically defeated him. But no, in our previous game, LJ and I played. That was the first game of this group. I played double tanks. He played a traditional 11 activation list. The double tanks proved too much to be able to overcome, and it did quite a lot. It was kind of cool. Lunta here joining in on the party. Thank you, Lunta. And Kodak. So my entire team is here. Where's your entire team, LJ? Come on, get on it. So that said, we're seeing a double move here with the Z6 group. Looks like they're going to try and get into a position where next turn they can score. Likely just wrapping around. Oh, God. What do you know? He did actually subscribe. Well, thank you for that, Invader League. Much appreciated. I did not actually expect that. Man of his word, a true man. The leader, well, whipping boy of the leader of the Discord. Invader League over here. The administrator to the Invader League that we had going on about 2 months ago now? 2 or 3 months ago? It's been actually not that long. He was actually practicing his RPQ list against me in our game earlier this week. And Very strong player, but not happy with how his Bosk played out. So, but I tend to say that he actually played very well. I don't want him to think that he didn't play it very well, because he actually did play really well. So, lots of people in the chat. So, Lunta only stopping by to trash talk the other team. And of course, dipping back out. Lots of chat. I can't follow it all. I'm busy following the game. So it looks as though Luke is definitely double moving over here to bring back a Death Trooper. He almost has to, because losing 3 in the first turn is pretty detrimental, effectively taking this Death Trooper group out of the game. But bringing at least 1 back, that's going to be huge, because that allows him to now throw 5 dice instead of just 4. And that does make a huge, huge difference in terms of getting some dice through cover, especially when he's trying to get... yeah, wounds would be great, but the suppression alone would be fantastic. Of course, right now, looks like these Stormtroopers are not really going to be too exposed to anything. With the Pathfinders already activating, they're not really at much risk. This Z6 squad can move up, but it's unlikely they'll get within range in this turn. Han, likely unable to get in range this turn. Jin also might be able to get in range this turn. We'll see what happens. Chewie, very unlikely to get in range. So, Luke, really in a strong position here, able to bring back that Death Trooper. And looks like that's a very good activation here. Did you guys get auto-invites to... So, only Luke did, because Luke is the winner of Worlds. So, has to come back and defend his position, whereas LJ has to earn his way back in. Now, did the top 2 get their invites, or was it only the top 1 got an invite? And that might be a question only Talk Polite can answer. Just the top 1, thank you. So they got to peep some really cool stuff. They probably got some really cool inside information, got some good times and everything else. Probably some stuff they can't talk about because of NDAs, but that is part of the benefits of being able to go to the first... bounty is on Chewie. Well, that was not announced previously, but that's fine. I completely forgot to mention it, but good to know. So, Talk Polite knows all the things that are coming out in the future, so if you have any questions, feel free to PM him, and he will definitely tell you and break his NDA. He has no problem doing that. That is at Talk Polite on Discord. That said, no, actually... Having been a playtester for many, many things and having inside information to some FFG stuff, definitely don't ping him for information. He really can't reveal much. And even then, anything he does know is subject to change. I knew a lot of stuff that was coming out in the middle of the releases for the current era, and they changed a vast majority of like card text. So even what he says, you won't know. And yes, I will indeed be at the Maryland RPQ next weekend. I don't know what list I want to play yet, but I will be there. Feel free to come say hi. I won't know who you people are unless you give me your Discord handles. Yes, I'm waffling on my list. I'm between 5 different lists, as Thrawn can tell you. Make the trek down. It's not too bad. It's right outside Baltimore. It depends on where you're at. I don't know where you're from, but it's a very easy drive to get there. You just basically take 95 all the way down to 895. You take 895 through the tunnel, you take the second exit, and then you make a left, and then it's the shopping complex that is 2 lights down. Pretty simple. Moving the Royal Guard over here just so that they can pull wounds from both Death Troopers if need be, because there are still snipers that need to... Well, no, the snipers did activate, so... Just outside Philly. So I take it you're going to probably head to the Philly RPQ then. It's likely about a 2.5 to 3 hour drive from you if you're just outside Philly, depending if you're on the Jersey side or not. I'd recommend it though. You might have to leave early because they definitely get rolling about 10 a.m. So, gonna be a very early morning drive for you, but still, not too terrible. I'd highly recommend coming down because why not? So, Royal Guard being placed so that they can start pulling wounds from either Death Trooper group. Bosk is not... Well, Bosk is right here as well, so they can pull wounds if needed from there. So at this point, there's almost no reason to shoot at any other target unless you can guarantee you're going to roll above 2 wounds. Han Solo, of course, very unlikely of getting in position, but Jyn Erso potentially able to get in there. That said, any crits will not be able to be pulled off of troops, but hits will be, so it will be interesting. So Philly and Nova are your qualifiers. I'll probably come up to Philly because it's not too far from me. I think it's only about an hour and 45 minutes to get up there. So I'm very likely going to go to the Philly RPQ, possibly. But then, of course, going to Nova because Thrawn twisted my arm, Talk Polite twisted my arm, everybody twisted my arm, and now I'm going to go. And I believe I promised my team first round of drinks, so I almost have to go. Looking like debating which trooper group he wants to activate. I cannot go to Nova. Nova is like an hour away from me, but I believe that is a weekend where I'm... Every weekend this summer is busy for me, so what am I even joking? I did offer to come help judge it. I think the tickets were sold out and I didn't want to commit to it. I think that was my problem. So I did offer to come and help if they need help in terms of judging or anything like that. However, I'm not a fan of the fact that I'd have to go and like get a ticket and everything else to help judge it, but whatever. I can still do it if they need help judging it, I can definitely lend my services. Alright, so moving into position here, this guy not going to have range to much of anything, but of course getting at least in a position for a capture on this objective. That way this naked squad can take this objective and not really have to worry about doing anything else the rest of the game, thus freeing up Chewie, Han, and literally everyone else to go and do something else. So tell me, Thrawn, why is the Philly RPQ going to be so lit? Alright, drawing from the stack. Looks like good old Krennic is going to activate. He's going to give his spotter likely out to Bosk, because why not? The binoculars make Krennic infinitely more powerful at the moment. And he's going to go ahead and move somewhere out of the way, because that's what Krennic does. Traditionally, you'd see Krennic either dodge and standby, or just move and move. He would rarely get involved in any sort of combat. His pistol, not very great. It does have Pierce, but it is a rainbow, so you could potentially get a hit out of it. Not too terrible with it. Alright, so Krennic going ahead and moving up. Giving his aim thanks to the new binoculars, which we just put in. Those will come out in the new core set coming out at Gen Con as well as in September. Alright, and it looks like Chewie getting his token pulled. Of course, both teams having a improvised orders, so he could throw that back in the pile if he wanted to. However, it looks like he might take it. Jyn is also a... No, Jyn is a leader, so she can't take it. However, it's debatable. Do you want to roll Chewie out? Chewie and his whopping range 3. He could... Well, range 3, he would need to be here. I don't think he can get within range 3 this turn to take advantage of his aim. Would be nice, but I don't think he can. He, however, can at least double move to get close, buying him time. And of course, getting in melee with Chewie is not bad at all either. So it looks like he's gonna... Looks like he's debating on taking it. Are they running a time? They're not running a clock. Okay. Neither team really caring. It seems like a lot of teams are not bothering with clocks right now because a lot of people have gotten to the point where they're fairly fast with their gameplay. So we're going to see Chewie move. I don't know if he's going to double move it or not. Looking like he wants to keep him a little bit covered so he doesn't get bossed right out of the gate and, of course, getting crushed by giving away a token for bounty. So just taking a dodge, that way Han Solo gets an extra dodge. That really tells me that Han Solo is going to just roll up here, and that way he can be in the open for next turn. Likely to do Reckless Diversion. So, White Stormtrooper group also rolling up over here, getting in a position so they can heal back a 4th Death Trooper. So end result was 1 dead Death Trooper, which is not terrible, especially considering that there were 2 medics and 2 Royal Guard, or a group of Royal Guard here. I would have really suspected that you were going to see almost no Death Troopers die within the first turn or 2, but 1 permanently dead Death Trooper is not a bad gig, especially burning 2 charges off of these Medroids right out of the gate. Not terrible at all. So Luke going ahead and bringing back the 4th Death Trooper to that group, putting another wound on a medic droid, down to 2 charges left, and he still has his Royal Guard to assist as needed. We still have Jyn and Han Solo to go. So Jyn can really roll around and lay into the Death Troopers, hoping to get 1 through on a crit and piercing 1 and taking 1 out permanently. Han likely won't have range. Depends on what Bossk is going to do, because you'll see Jyn and Han likely activate after Bossk at this point. Because all that's left is these Death Troopers here, and then Bossk. Whereas we still have this yellow squad here, we have Jyn, we have Han, so activation-wise, it'll be a good question to see what happens. Depends where things go. So, what will we see these Z6 troopers here do? I suspect they'll charge ahead and probably be used as reckless diversion bait in the next turn. So checking range here would be pretty imperative. That would well, he probably already knows the range. So, depending on where he wants to move, yeah, it's likely he's just trying to make sure that he can get enough people behind cover here and still be within range of... So he's not within range 3, he's in within range 4. So any troopers can split their fire then if he were to reckless divert over here, especially Death Troopers who have not fired their suppressive weapons. So it might be worth double moving to get up to the heavy cover here, and then just letting them get shot up for the most part, but allowing your heroes to really do their own thing. I think Jyn, likely you're going to see her try and get into close combat right away. Alright, so that trooper had activated. Now it's time for either Bossk or the Death Troopers over yonder, the purple ones that just got healed all the way back up. They have yet to fire their suppressive weapon. However, the blue ones did. So let's see what it is that Luke will want to do. Sorry if I keep meandering away from my microphone a little bit. Alright, so it looks like taking a little bit of measurements here, trying to see ranges to things and guesstimate some things. If we do not see these Death Troopers recover, they can then, instead of Reckless Divert, put their shots here. They can fire at a different target of their choice. Could also potentially put Reckless Diversion on the Pathfinders, allowing them to take advantage of their, their duck and cover as well as their danger senses, to just keep piling on more and more dice for defense. So not potentially terrible of a Reckless Diversion target. So it looks like Bossk is going to go ahead and activate the ultimate breaker of Reckless Diversion. Will he move forward and do some crazy stuff? He is out of range currently of everybody, and he cannot currently see the Pathfinders. So we're going to see him just move just at the very back corner, so that he can get range at those Pathfinders. Looking like he's going to try and pop a few with his with his, what do you want to call it, his launcher there. Going to be range 4 right to the leader, which is all he needs. He needs crits to hit him, but of course, Bosk being Bosk, he surges to crits, and it's Bosk, so he does what Bosk does best. So positioning himself just back far enough, and it looks like he got range 4 exactly to the lead. Did they keep short range config, or did they switch to long range? Yep, they did keep long or short range config. So Bosk firing at the Pathfinders through heavy cover. This might actually benefit them a lot. Looks like he's taking the duck and cover. So we see a singular hit. So won't even make it through cover. With the aim, though, he gets a second hit. Again, not making it through cover. So Bosk ineffective, only adding suppression to the Pathfinders here. But they're actually kind of content with it, because that Danger Cinch is really going to help them out, and they're going to keep 3, maybe even 2 or 3 suppression next turn. So that is perfect for Reckless Diversion now. Putting it on these guys so that they have 3 saves, and then whatever else gets piled onto them, that might not be bad at all. So the Death Troopers here still needing to activate. Of course, Jin or Han being the available choices now. So a really lucky break here for Mitro, as previously his shots from the Pathfinders kind of failed him. Now the shots from Bosk failing Bosk, really helping out the Pathfinders for next turn with all that suppression. One of the few units who actually loves suppression. So, will we see Han activate? Will we see Jin activate? That is a good question. Because you still have to deal with these Death Troopers here. And they can steamroll out. If they double move to here, or single move, ooh, they might only get to here. So they can see Jin. I don't know, we'll find out. We will find out. Mitro cutting this corner, best he can, with a single move from Han. I don't think that's going to get him anywhere, but at least it's a start. Now, Han has all these tokens, but sadly he really can't take advantage of them. So he's better off to probably just plop himself back here, getting ready for next turn. Sucks that he's losing out on those tokens, but it is what it is. Had to sneeze real quick. Han potentially moving up again. Taking that second move, I don't know, that would be a second move to move there. So I guess debating on the final position of Han is likely the case. Alright, rolling the suppression off the Death Troopers. They do not, so they get a single action this turn. That's actually kind of huge. That's really going to allow, well, I don't know if that really would have made much difference. They can still fire if they want to attack something. They're within range of the Pathfinders, so there you go. They have a pretty good shot at all of them. It's going to be heavy cover. Well, it might not be. Yes, it will be, because it's going through the water tower. Some are going through the water tower, some are going through the sandbags, plus the suppression. That's going to be heavy cover. Depends how they call it, though. That is not for me to call. That is for them to decide. Either way, it's going to be a bunch of extra saves on them, but as shown by the previous roll earlier, when the, which one of columns, the commandos got lit up, it might not be the worst thing in the world. So a little bit of readjustment from the original shifting of position there. Looks like they're probably going to get compelled. That might be the case. I don't know what the game plan is. Yep, they're being compelled into a position, just so that way the commander can get a better line of sight. Looks like he's taking away the light cover by doing so, thus giving them just the suppression cover. Looks like he was able to position the commander just so that he can see 3 models in the open. So we're about to see the rollout. Ooh, and it looks like one of those should have been another hit, but whatever. And there you go, 6 hits. Perfect dice again. So, 6 hits. He should be able to get 3 more from Danger Sense. Maybe not. Fails all of them. Wow. Failed absolutely all of them. The very expensive Pathfinder unit completely eliminated with that. Both DTs indeed rolling perfect. I believe he did indeed forget his Danger Sense. Somehow he's able to keep his lead. Oh, because I guess they were calling it. Nope. So what he did was he took 6 hits, reduced it to 4, rolled 7. So that makes sense. So he only had 4 models at risk the whole time. So he didn't lose everybody. I just read that wrong. So yeah, 6 hits, down to 2 because of heavy cover. They must have called it heavy. And then rolled his Danger Sense to get to a total of 7 dice. And then was left with 1 model that could not be killed based on the heavy cover. So yikes. Failing all of those dice. That's incredible. Especially with 5 ups. He should have made at least 1 or 2 of those. So, command cards coming out next. Mitro already in dire straits here. A lot of the heavy lifting is going to be on his heroes. Luke really swinging for the fences, really making Talk Polite pretty happy over here. Let me send a message to somebody real quick. I'll deal with it later. Alright, so alright, cards. I would suspect we might see Lying in Wait. Ooh, Annihilation looms. I don't think he wanted to do that. Or is he going to keep it? He did keep it. He kept Annihilation looms. So likely to try and suppress out the Pathfinders. Putting Reckless Diversion on Han. Likely going to put that on the Pathfinder leader. All the tokens going out all over the board here. Everybody has their suppression. Everything is all good there. Welcome back, Sploosh. Nice to have you back. And where is he going to put the actual Reckless Diversion on? I think at this point you put it on the Pathfinder leader. Just to be a nuisance. Ooh, he's going to put it on Chewie. I'm not sure I understand that move. But okay. I would have put it on this Pathfinder leader and let them try and shoot him out of cover, especially with all that suppression. But hey, he wanted Chewie to have it for whatever particular reason. Oh, I see why he's doing it. Because he's going to use Han as the Reckless Diverter, giving him a dodge token. Not sure I understand it, but he has a game plan. Han, of course, in heavy cover at the moment, and having a dodge. So that could be interesting. Board state, you're right, does not look fantastic, but you never know what these players are thinking. So Han now considered heavy cover with a dodge token because of Chewie. And I guess Han being the actual Reckless Diversion himself. Interesting choice doing that. This is turn 2. So, someone just rolled for something. Oh, it was to try and lift the suppression off of Han. I gotcha. Yeah, I'll put it this way, man. He is making up for your lack of dice, that is for sure. Is my stream still up? Hey, Quincy. Let me check out my Twitch, because for some reason it's saying that it's not active, but yet you all clearly can see me currently. No, it says that it's active. I'll go to my dashboard. Okay, good to know. It's probably... Huh, interesting. Okay, well, it's up and running now. Or it's showing up on this side for me. Oh well, everything's good. Alright, so... looking to try and activate the Stormtrooper squad over here. Or not. Deciding a different Stormtrooper squad. Going with the medics. Going with the medics first. Interesting. I guess really trying to... really going to take his chances here, knowing that he has enough wounds that he can pull into the Royal Guard, as well as then put them on the... He does not roll away the suppression, but Krennic can compel them. So it looks like he's taking shots at Han. He's looking like he's going to chance the fact that he has... Oof, 2 hits. That's going to be just suppression on Han. Looks like he's going to chance the fact that the IRG can eat the shots coming in at any Death Troopers or anything else, and then also put them on the stims that they have. My chat client died. That is the problem. We can worry about relaunching that later. I don't need the chat client because I have the built-in chat client. Or I have the normal chat client, I should say. There we go. Alright, so Han checking ranges to things. Pulling the trooper unit back here. He's likely going to need to move up to be of any use. Unable to clear the suppression on them, so they will get a singular activation. At range 4, they're not going to do a whole lot. They're going to have to move up and basically take no action or stay at their current position if they so choose to. I would suspect they're going to have to move if they have any hopes of getting into a position to at least assist with taking on this objective. They are going to be in the open for these Death Troopers, which is going to be scary. He can slowly wrap them around. I don't think he's going to be within range 1 of the... No, he would have to move straight in order to be within range 1 of this objective. So this squad, unlikely to do much this turn. Yeah, that suppression and failing that roll to take that suppression off really is going to hurt the squad. I almost think that you should have just left them and just taken the loss on the objective this turn. Yeah, this squad is way in the open. They will have light cover from the suppression, but I think their best bets would have been probably taking a dodge and hanging back here behind this barricade and just hoping for the best. Alright, rolling a blank to try and take off the suppression for Krennic. Krennic really doesn't care. He's going to give a aim... Oh, he's going to give it to the Death Troopers. Interesting. Instead of Bosk. That is a mild surprise, unless Bosk is exactly where he wants him. Which, at this point, he might be. And Bosk will just take the aim and fire. Krennic, however, likely just going to sit here. Yeah, you're right. DT's getting the larger reroll pool. That's kind of why I think I would have given it to Bosk. Let these DTs sit and fire. However, he might recover them, and that's why he gave them spotter. Whereas Bosk he can just do a standard aim with. So that is what I think he's going to do, is likely just recover with these DTs and fire with that aim token. Bosk will take his own aim. Alright, so Jin. I don't think he wants to draw Jin yet. I think that you want to improvise order that one. Yeah, Krennic with Spotter really changes the game. I think that is a fantastic upgrade for him. I cannot wait to get that card. That would actually solidify what list I'd take to an RPQ, but that's not going to be available for quite some time. So, no dice for me on that one. Maybe, maybe not Sploosh. I don't know. I don't think he would have had Spotter initially, because he already has so many great options that I think it would have been great for them to be planning on the fact that binoculars on him would be great. So Jin taking an aim and a dodge. Interesting. Interesting indeed. So Jin basically holding position where she's at. She might be within range of the objective token. That's probably why she didn't do anything else. No need to really expose her to any more than she absolutely has to. The Death Troopers here. Rolling to activate. They do not get their suppression taken off, which is fine. Looks like they're going to move out over here, so that way they get range to Han Solo, it looks like, is what their game plan is. So they're going to be firing at Han Solo. Looks like it'll be in the open, but of course, because of low profile and the suppression, he'll be going up to heavy cover. Within range 3, so that's not the issue if he wants that. Looks like those Death Troopers are definitely not going to be trying to take out Yellow Squad. Instead, definitely going to be going after Han Solo. Likely some of them might have already seen Han Solo, and that's why, instead of going for the reckless diversion like Split, he's just going to go full force at Han and take it on that way. Binoculars could have been invented while he was being designed. Maybe. It's a very good option that could have been something that people looked at and were like, hey, this would be a great pay-for option. That seems like actually a very, very good logical jump. It might have been something they've always had in mind. And then just with the clones is when it made sense to bring it out. Alright, so we're going to see Han get shot up here by a full group of Death Troopers. In the open, but reduced to heavy. 7 shots with an aim. Ouch. Once again, rolling really great out of the gate. So, 7 up to 6, or 7 down to 6, down to 4. So 4 saves on Han. He is going to likely dodge at least one of them. I don't know how many dodges he has. So 3 saves instead. Failing 2. He has Uncanny Luck, so he can reroll those 2. Looks like Mid is forgetting about Uncanny Luck. So, looks like he just then remembered it. Oh, he took it on Chewie instead of Han. Okay, that's why he didn't Uncanny Luck it. That makes more sense. Yep, didn't even look over that way until we scrolled over there, and yes, indeed, he put it onto Chewie to try and get him closer to being enraged. 1 more wound would be perfect for Chewie to take. So no, he dodged 1, bringing it down to 3, and then took all 3 on Chewie. No. You have to decide before you roll defensive dice who is going to take it. Hence why you don't end up rolling like red defensive dice for a white person, or white dice person, if they have different dice levels depending on who's taking the Guardian. Nope, didn't miss the roll. He dodged one of them because they were all hits. Z6 squad wrapping around the bend here. Looks like they're going to have some nice shots on whatever they choose. Do they shoot at Bosk, or do they shoot at the Death Troopers and hope they put enough through to do something else? Well, we're about to find out. Don't think we missed a roll. Pretty sure that was the case where... well, the dice are cleared, but it was... what was it? 6 hits, none of them crits. Yep, on second thought, it wasn't a good move for the Z, or wasn't a great bunch of targets for the Z6 because they have a suppression on them, and he failed to roll that off them. So next turn, he'll have some great shots. However, this turn, not so much. Didn't see the suppression, didn't see the roll off of it. But man, that Z6 group is juicy target right now for Bosk. There are plenty of good options for Bosk, because he currently does not see Han Solo. So he can shoot at whoever he wants. Likely, though, he might wait a little bit and see if Han moves. Pop open Snippet real quick, just so I can take a screenshot of something for somebody. Hopefully you guys don't mind that real quick. There we go. Alright, everything's good. Just had to do a quick little thing. Alright, so trying to activate these Stormtroopers here. They are able to do both actions in their activation here. So they'll have their choice of targets. Han Solo likely out of range. So they can choose either the lowly Pathfinder here, potentially this squad here. Oh, Han Solo is in range for range 4. So they can split fire, or they can move. That is also an option. So he's going to move just to be out of range 4 of Han. But not yet within range 3 of that Pathfinder. So he could plop him probably right about here. Han right outside of 4, so that would be a position he can use. That Pathfinder going to get heavy cover, but with all the shots coming at him, who knows? All he needs is a crit. And DLTs are known for pushing through cover pretty nicely. So... going to easily get everybody with shots at that lone model, if that's what he's going for, is to kill this activation. It is indeed. So we're going to see a full Stormtrooper squad fire at that lone dude. We'll see how many hits go through. And it looks like 2, so just a suppression. So this poor Pathfinder on 5 suppression already. Chances of him staying on the board are quickly dwindling. We have Sniper or Pathfinder here. Looking to probably activate the Pathfinder before anything else happens to him. 5 dice, this could be curtains for him, depending. And that is indeed curtains. He will panic off the board because he has 2, unless Jin has 3. Oh, Jin does have 3. So, depending on the range, he could be okay. He will, of course, be sitting there really close to panic, but he is within range of Jin, so that means he's going to hang around for a turn. What is he going to do? I don't know. Recover would be good, because that'll eliminate all of the suppression. Likely trying to figure a few things out real quick. So it looks as though he's going to try and run him just so that way he can save the activation, potentially wrapping around back here to take care of the base objective. How is he getting 2 activations is the question. Oh, Dauntlessing. He's going to Dauntless himself to get 2 activations or 2 moves, putting himself at 6 suppression in the process. However, he is within range of Jin, so he will lose 1 next turn. He could get shot up, but very unlikely. That is a huge, huge point sink that he does not want to give up. Very easily could just run him around the back corner here and hide and grab this objective token and be fine the rest of the game just doing standbys and recovers. Alright, so up next for Luke, we have a bunch of choices left. We'll see what he decides to do. Kodak, I'm sending you a message on Discord if you can check it real quick. Alright, so it looks like he is going to indeed activate Bosk. Bosk is going to fire at the troopers right here, which should be in the open for him. He needs to roll his suppression off. He does, but that's not really that big of a deal. He probably would have preferred to keep it. Don't know if he's taking an aim or not. Looks like the answer is no. He does get 3 hits in, though. 1 will be removed because of the suppression. No crits so far from Bosk. That is actually kind of interesting. So it'll just be 2 hits. And 1 save. He should roll for another one if I'm not mistaken. Because there should be no... Oh! He probably put 1 onto Chewie. So Chewie taking the 4th wound, thus making him now enraged, which is actually perfect for Chewie. So that is exactly what he wants. And then 1 trooper dead, guaranteed. I think he rolled that wrong. Should be 1, yeah. Should be a single save. And he fails it anyway. So it's going to be 1 dead trooper. And a bunch of suppression. So Boss going to go ahead and charge up. Or no, he's going to run actually behind the tree. That way preserving him for perhaps a lying in wait this turn, or this next turn. Or at least getting him in a position for a lying in wait. So Chewie enraged is going to be interesting. However, that is a bunch of wounds on Chewie that can potentially bite him later when he rolls around and Bosk is sitting there waiting for him and can easily last first him. So backpedaling, in fact. Because he will have range 4 pretty much all day and night from his position. So, yeah, just backpedaling him to get out of range 3 of anything that's going to roll around that corner. That way he is nice and safe and protected. And now we're going to see the snipers activate. I mean, they could shoot at Bosk if they wanted to, but he's going to be in heavy cover. Krennic's in heavy cover. Looks like they do recover or rally from their suppression. There's my actual question to you. Alright, so looking like he's going to fire at the Death Troopers here that have already activated in the open. The blue ones with suppression. Looks like he's saying who has activated and who hasn't. I believe these stormtroopers here have not activated with their medics still readily available. Has a singular charge on it. And the Death Troopers back here have not activated either. Looks like a little bit of a standstill here while he's debating where to go after. No matter what, it's likely going to get pulled onto the roll guard. Unless you roll a crit. Crit is always an option that's going to go through. So firing at the unactivated stormtroopers. From that position, well, it doesn't matter, they're going to have heavy anyway because of the trees right here. So they're going to have heavy cover. So he's going to need crits. Also crits to avoid the roll guard. But I don't think it really matters with that squad anyway. There's a double hit, so that would be a singularly dead trooper. Will he take a wound on the roll guard, or will he just take it on the stormtroopers? Looks like he is indeed going to take it on the roll guard. That is what they're there for, is to absorb wounds. Alright, so up next, we're going to see the Stormtrooper group that just got shot at activate. They do not pass their rally, so they have 2 suppression on them. They will have a singular activation or action, however, Krennic can compel them if they want to be moved. It looks as though Luke is giving up the objective the first turn, which is never a bad move. I've always found that keeping the objective the first turn doesn't really make that big of a difference. Or the first scoring opportunity, I should say. So giving it up this first scoring opportunity may be okay. Alright, so what are they going to do? Likely, looks like they're just measuring a bit. I mean, at this rate, why not fire at Han? Hell, I mean, you're just outside of range. Oh, so somehow they lost the DLT. Something happened there. I think he accidentally grabbed him. Possibly. Yeah, I mean, I guess that works. So it looks like he's going to compel him to be right here. That gives him perfect range to Han. Let's see where he puts them. Alright, Alright, so lining everybody up. Getting in position to shoot Han. Nice, easy Stormtrooper shot. It's going to be in heavy cover, of course, because of Han's low profile. Will he choose to bring any more of these wounds over to Chewie is going to be the question. So let's see what he rolls. Yikes! 4 hits. So 4 down to 2, of course. Han can dodge. Does he still have any dodges left on him? He does have a dodge. So he can dodge one of them. So that would just mean a singular hit. And it looks like indeed he is taking the dodge. So a singular hit coming in. And he blocks it. Han pretty content as is. However, with that suppression that he has on him, he's going to have to roll really nice to drop it all because he only has Courage 2, I believe. Yes, he does. So he's currently going to be losing an action as he sits right now. Trying to activate, they can, but they get a singular action. However, back here, they likely don't have anything they need to do because they're within one of this objective. You might as well just have them... Oh, he's going to move them up. Oh, probably because that way the Pathfinder can roll back and take over their position in a later turn. So this way he's at least getting them for a later turn when they're going to have to roll up and take the place of some other casualties that have happened. Whereas provided this Pathfinder lives, he'll just scurry back here and never move again. Whereas these guys do have the option to at least continue to keep the fight going. So, Purple Death Trooper is going to be activated. Oh, nope, sorry, the IRG being activated. Single suppression here. They are unable to clear it, but with Courage 2, they're not going to care at all. They're going to go ahead and move on anywhere they so choose. There's not many good positions, because there's a lot of terrain in the way. So he is able to get them there in the open. Do they have charge? I believe they do. So they can move a second time and attack. Or they can just move right here and then fire with their blasters. Which is not terrible either. Because their blasters are actually pretty decent. So it looks like he's going to move them into the woods. Only to be within range 2 of the troopers. So very smart maneuvers by Luke to keep Han just out of range. Especially with all that suppression. Knowing that it's very unlikely Han's going to be able to move and fire this turn. So, firing at the Z6 squad here. We're going to see the pistols come out. Oof! That's really good. Do they surge into anything? I believe they do not. So, 3 hits down to 2 because of suppression. Saves 1, loses 1. So, even odds, lost a singular model. Not terrible, but yet more suppression on everybody. There is a lot of suppression all over the board here. Alright, so what is up next for Mitro? He has Jin left, he has Han left, he has the Z6 squad already activated, I believe. Jin already activated. So it's likely just Han. Yeah, it is. I mean, I could always just look over there and find out that it was just Han, but it is just Han. Han losing a singular suppression. So not enough. He needed to lose 3 out of that he had. So now he just gets a singular action. He is just out of range to be able to do anything. He can move up, thus bringing him into some really interesting positions for next turn. So, Rifle Stud, this is over Tabletop Simulator. It's a very, very nicely done mod. If you go and get Tabletop Simulator, which is quite often on sale on Steam for like $10. Currently, I believe it's 20 though. You go into the workshop and get Star Wars Legion, and you can play the game there. I highly recommend that if you want to, you should go ahead and join up on the Legion Discord as well. If someone has a link to that Discord and wants to post it in the chat, Reha, I think you have that easy access. That is also a good resource to find out more information about this stuff. Alright, so Han moving up. Uh-oh. Pulling off one suppression. Death Troopers able to use both of their actions here. Welcome to the family then, Rifle Stud. Core set is a great pickup. It's a great start. I highly recommend you join our Discord. Reha or somebody, if you can get the link for it, that'd be awesome. Whoever has quick and easy access, Sploosh, or I think Talk Polite's even in here. He can easily get it. And then definitely join up on the Discord. Look into playing it this way as well, because this gets you access to a lot of units, and that way you can play around and find out different things that work for you. Thank you, Sploosh. And then in addition to that, this tournament, or this league, is part of that Discord group. You can get help there, where to go next with all the different purchases you want to make. You can get tips, advice, list making, everything else. Definitely the place to go. Highly recommend you check it out. Welcome to the Legion family. You will not be disappointed. This game is amazing. Thank you for the follow as well, by the way. I will say that this is easily one of the best tabletops I've played. Easily one of my favorite tabletops. Rifle Stud, thank you for the follow. Yeah, I've played my way through a bunch of tabletops, this one easily being one of the better rule sets. And also the IP doesn't hurt. Everybody loves Star Wars, who doesn't? Alright, so Death Trooper's going to lay into the 2 that they can see. Gonna be 6 shots. Oh man, another perfect roll by the Death Troopers. The Death Troopers have yet to fire under 6 hits a turn. St. Louis area? Reha's actually going to be moving to the St. Louis area. I'm going to be in the St. Louis area in August, so I can help you out a little bit. Overall, the Legion Discord group is probably an easy way to find... Ouch! And only rolling 1 save. So that is both of these guys dead. The commander replacing the Z6. So the Discord group is likely the best way to find players in your region. I keep forgetting about that. How do I keep forgetting about the Legion tournament circuit? Post the link to that damn website. I always forget about it because we don't announce it enough. That is like the ultimate way to find events and stores in your area. See, this is why you need to be here in this channel with me, Legion, or Talk Polite. So yeah, Rifle Stud, check out Legion tournament circuit. Ghost Walking posted the link. It is like the perfect way to find your local community on top of the Discord group. It is like the gold mine, the like source for finding that exact one area and stores. There are tournaments going on there. There's a high command event that's not high command. What is it called? A premier event that's going to be happening there in October, I believe. So going on to turn 3 here, we're going to see how they score it. Looks like they're saying 1 point and 2 points. So it looks like Luke is taking the center point with the amount of commanders that he has in range. So right now, 2-1. So yeah, sorry about that, TP. I always forget about that website, even though it's like actually one of the first sites I check for tournaments and weekends and everything else. It's how I actually book my weekends, is looking at that for what's going on when. So yeah, highly, highly, highly recommend Rifle Stud. You get on the Discord group, talk to some people there, check out the website that was just linked, the Legion Tournament Circuit. That has tons and tons and tons of information about local areas. And you can also then refer stores to that site so they can get mentioned on that site, so that way other people like yourself know to go there. Rifle Stud, where are you in St. Louis, by the way? Or in the St. Louis region? Alright, so command card's coming out. Smack dab in the middle of St. Louis. Okay. So you're in West County? University... Okay, I know exactly where you're at. Yeah, if nothing else, I'll be down there the weekend of the 16th through something. I can definitely try and hook up with you and help you out. I know I want to try and meet up with Riha and help him out, because he'll be moving out there, and I wanted to like help him see some stuff and do some things. So I'll try and coordinate some stuff with you as well. Oh, so we are seeing Jin against the Reptilian Rampage. So trust goes both ways. Jin Urso gets Inspire 2, which is huge. And then when she issues another friendly token to the unit, they gain teamwork with Jin Urso. Sweet. So effectively it's the same thing. And with that, Luke loses priority to Mitro here. Jin being able to give out a token to another person of her choice, and when she does, it does the same effect as if it was Han Solo and Chewie, where any token she takes, that other unit takes. So now Chewie's going to benefit from any tokens that Jin takes, and that Inspire 2 is going to be huge to help remove some suppression off of people. Alright, so Jin taking a dodge and an aim. Gonna hand those back out to Chewie by the looks of it. Just like that. And because Chewie gets it, it then teamworks back to Han, so all three of them get those same tokens. Jin able to get both because of her quick thinking, which is she can get both an aim and a dodge in a singular action. So she still has one action. However, I do not believe she is able to... Well, you could argue she could see the... which one of columns? These guys. The Royal Guard. So if she wanted to, she could fire at them. I mean, there's no reason not to at this point. There you go. Firing at the Royal Guard. 2 red and a white. With Pierce 1. Ouch! Through heavy cover, she is getting 1 in with the crit. However, you might as well reroll with her aim. There's no reason not to. So you should reroll those 2 reds, looking for crits. Or maybe not. Oh, does she have Sharpshooter? She does have Sharpshooter. Okay, I didn't know she had Sharpshooter. So yeah, that would be 2 wounds instead. So yeah, instead plopping 2 wounds on the guard, because that first save is ignored, the surge doesn't count. So instead, taking 2 wounds onto the emergency stims to prevent one from being eliminated right off the bat. Not bad action economy from Jin right there. Giving out the aim and the dodge helps out a bunch. So, pulling out... I don't believe he pulled a token yet, because that was an entourage. And of course, Bosk being Bosk gets that. Is he going to go with the Entourage first, or is he going to pull from the stack, or was this... Don't know. We'll find out what's going to happen here. Alright, so yes, indeed going with the Entourage, taking an aim, and firing at Han Solo. He is currently in the open. Well, yeah, he is in the open, so his low profile is not going to help him. Firing their pistols, which is slightly better than firing their standard weaponry. Will Luke do better than Mitt? Oh my god, he does. Luke doing infinitely better with his right rolls than Mitt there. Mitt with that Alpha Strike doing next to nothing. Luke here, however, getting every single possible shot into Han, except for a singular die. White dice are on fire for Luke right now. That is incredible. Absolute fire coming in. Transferring some of the damage to Chewie if he can. Going to dodge out one of these. Chewie taking 2 more damage. Putting him up to 6 now. Chewie in really dire straits there. Han having to take 7... No, should be 6. Yep, should be 6 saves himself. Manages to make 3 saves. Can reroll 3 of those. Not bad. Out of all of that, Han only takes 2 wounds. Somehow, some way, Han is able to survive all those shots. But wow. I don't know. They said it was, so I'm not going to call them on it. It looks like it would be close, but they are able to do teamwork. So if they're able to do teamwork, then they should be able to do, because teamwork is 1, right? Gotta look at Chewie. Oh no, it's 1 to 2. I guess we'll find out here real quick. Yeah, he's within range 1. Because if you saw that swing of the movement template, it's right at the edge of it. But he's definitely within range 1. Moving to get better shots here. Looking like he's going to probably shoot at the Imperial Royal Guard now that their stims are used up. And any shots this time are just going to go right into wounds to the models, especially taking out one right here. With Pierce 1, if he is able to get a hit in. Chewie does not have any sort of sharpshooter. Making sure that Chewie is out of line of sight of Bossk, because Bossk would gladly take the bounty if he can. Bossk can move. Bossk can't see him, period. So, very unlikely. Not sure how Chewie got another aim there. Getting a crit and a hit. So that's what you want. Now he's going to have to reroll those white dice. Hope he has just as good of luck as Luke. The answer is no. With that one reroll, he did not get it. With the second aim, he does roll into surges. Surges roll into crits. Wow. So 3 coming through. So 2 wounds going into the Royal Guard there. So it's going to be 1 dead Royal Guard, 1 taking a wound, and then 2 wounds waiting in the wings for after the end of their activation. So, finally putting some hits out on there. Really starting to eliminate those Royal Guard. However, there is still the option for them to be healed back. There are some wound tokens out there. or some medic tokens left available. Chewie again in dire straits. Very easily can be taken out by anybody. I don't think you want to give up the bounty so bad, but taking Chewie off the board also wouldn't be too terrible for Luke to do. So going ahead and activating, looks like Bosk is just going to fire at Han here. Because of Hunter, he is getting a free aim. And there's the crits he was looking for. 4 crits right out of the gate without even rolling that aim. He does surge to crit. He does have Hunter. So there's no reason not to roll that one extra one. I don't know why he's not. Yikes! Han failing all of them initially. Rerolling to try and stay alive here. Han failing. Han being eliminated before he even gets to activate. Luke's dice are astronomically good right now. His white dice are absolutely on fire, whereas Mitro's white dice are completely non-existent. Riha calling it, goddamn Luke, for sure. Whatever price he paid to get those white dice, man, was it worth it. Yeah, it's Reptilian Rampage. So, I don't know if he has another target for that shot. So, free actioning to move forward. Looks like he's probably going to fire at, I guess, yellow? Sure, why not? Saving that aim. I see what he did. He saved that aim for this time from the previous. Rolling into 4 total hits. They are in the open indeed. So that was a smart move by Luke once he saw what he rolled. And 4 saves failed there because of Pierce 1. So it's going to be everybody except the Z6. Z6 gets replaced by the Commander. And again, down to a single activation, or single model out of an entire unit. At this point, Mitro's really hurting bad with what's on the board. Luke's dice just continuing just to be absolutely on fire and making absolutely great tactical choices, like keeping that surge, not that surge, that aim from Hunter to be used on the second attack. The kid is good. You are not wrong. Dude, I'm going to go ahead and say this. He has kid luck. I know he's probably not, like, of kid luck age. Riha knows what I'm talking about, though. But man, does Luke have kid luck. Alright. Activating the sniper. They have their choice of targets. I mean, who do you fire at this point? I guess the Royal Guard to try and eliminate them. Claim a moral victory on that ground, I suppose. And it looks like that is indeed what he's going to do. Fire at the IRG. Getting his aim. They got a hit. He's going to need to re-roll that white one and hopefully get a hit or a crit. Or surge. Technically the surge rolls into a hit, so... And there you go. That will put another wound on the IRG, which will eliminate that one model. Or maybe it won't. I mean, I could arguably say you could see the top of his head. But apparently they're saying that you cannot. So 1 wound apiece. I would argue that was incorrect, but hey, whatever. That is up to them to decide. They probably looked at it slightly differently. So, activating, I'm supposing, the IRG now? Yep, looks like the IRG. 3 suppression, that he has to roll off. He manages to take 1 off, so they will get a singular action. However, Krennic can compel them. And it looks like that is exactly what he's going to do. So he's going to go ahead and compel them to move, and then they'll either fire or assault, depending on where they land. Looks like they are indeed going to be shooting out of the woods here. Rifle, enjoy your first game. It's going to be awesome. What faction are you going to play as first? Ah, shooting at the lone dude over here. Trying to eliminate the activation. Because points are points. Jesus. Rolling out a crit and 2 hits there. I guess they're calling it shouldn't be in the open. Should be 2. Yep. He got it. Because he has suppression. And with that, the lone dude blocks it. He's able to stand there and take the fire while the guard just drop to their knees and then perish into the woods as he just laughs as they fire at him and his, you know, just uncanny, well, not even uncanny luck, just as his very light armor absorbs the shots. All right, up next is the already dead Han Solo, followed by Trooper Unit. Well, Pink over here needs to still activate. They do not have a lot of options. This lone dude has not activated yet, so he could run away with his 3 suppression. This lone dude could run away with his 4 suppression. Basically needs to be a little bit closer. 4 suppression to roll off. Whew. 1. Well, down to 3. Just edge him oh so close. And then you might want to check his range just to verify. Always check range, because last thing you want to do is think you're there, but then not actually be. So yep, perfectly in it, because he has that corner. And then that guy can just hang out there and hope to not die. Alright, activating next is Krennic. Likely going to move forward and give spotter to what I'm assuming is going to be the blue Death Troopers. Then they're going to likely fire at something. I don't know what that something's going to be, but they're going to fire at it. Giving it to the purple ones. Interesting. So likely blue is exactly where he wants them to be. Alright, so pulling the trooper. Again, you got this guy here, and you got the pink guys here. I think that this guy hasn't activated yet. We're about to find out. Empire is indeed fun. I do like Empire rifle. I can recommend them. Can't recommend them enough, to be honest. Alright, so it looks like pink is going to activate. Nope, sorry, yellow is going to activate with 3 suppression. Clearing 1 of the suppression off, so he'll get his singular action. Likely we'll see him hightail it as well around this corner. He needs to stack up in the center here if he has any hopes of getting on that, or winning that objective. There might be enough room for him to just put the very edge in, because this guy edged up as close as he could to Jin. So if this one edges up next to him, he likely can be in range for that objective. Might take a little bit of playing with the model to verify it. It's going to be a very long range one. Very long. Yeah, definitely range. As Riha said, Clone Wars were confirmed for being at Gen Con. Dewbacks and Shore Troopers also confirmed for being at Gen Con. And then the Tauntauns and Veterans are going to be available on Friday of this week. That's a question mark at the end of that, but I believe it's correct. And yeah, I mean, every faction has their pros and cons. There's no this faction's better or worse. All the factions are actually all really, really good. Thrawn, so far you've missed an absolute slaughter. More or less, Luke has incredibly good white dice. Mitro has incredibly not good white dice. And it's just been a murder fest. Luke making really, really smart choices here and there with moving things to be just outside of range 2 of Han when Han was super suppressed. Taking really good advantage of Bosk with his Hunter ability to carry a aim that he didn't need into a second attack. Yep, pretty much an Abe Simpson. Walk in, put your hat on the rack, spin around once, grab your hat, walk right back out. I mean, I hate to be the guy that calls things, but you could effectively call this game right this minute in Luke's favor. Getting a crit and a bunch of hits again into a model in heavy cover. That's going to be, what, 3 saves against that one model? Or where was that going into? I thought it was that one model. Maybe it's into Jin? So 2 wounds. Yes, going at Jin. It looks like they're only taking a singular wound. Okay, that's an option. Oh, she probably danger sensed out of the hits. She dodged one, then danger sensed to be able to roll the extra die. That makes more sense now. All right. All this. Well, that worked. All the suppression on this guy, bringing it down to 3. So you'll likely see him dauntless his way around and then run, get a second action, which will be to keep running. Likely a quick debate over how many suppression he should have. He should have 4 by my count. There you go. Run him that way, and then he'll get a second move, which is just going to put him way over here. And keep in mind, this is only turn 3, so quite a lot of slaughter has happened in this time frame. Alright, so Pathfinder's still alive, massively expensive unit. I don't know what is left to activate on the Rebel side. It looks like the answer is nothing. Whereas Luke still has plenty to activate. Stormtroopers rolling up. Gonna fire at Chewie to try and take him out. He's already at 6 wounds, so all he needs is 3 more. See how hot the white dice are this time. Not so much. Just 2 hits coming through. Should be 1 because... oh no. Chewie can eliminate both of those with his dodges. Never mind. So, yep. And he also doesn't have suppression on him because of all his wounds making him enraged. Thus, 2 hits being eliminated by those 2 suppression... or the 2 dodges, rather. And back to pink over here. They still have an activation. Looks like he's in a position to open up shots against the stormtroopers there with the medic in the center. Alright, 4 black die going against the medic group here. In heavy cover. Lands 3 hits. 2 are going to be negated by cover, so a singular save. And stormtroopers do stormtrooper things. Just take a suppression. Alright, now back to Luke. Drawing another trooper unit. It's going to be the white stormtroopers there with the medic bot. They're able to rally off 1 suppression, but still keep 1. They will compel to activate. Looks like they are going to move into the woods as well. Take advantage of that heavy cover while they can. Likely see another group of shots raining out, I suspect, at Chewie. Trying to eliminate him. Oh no, going for the pink squad instead. They are in the open and have no suppression on them, so any hits are going to basically just go right to their saves. Oh, nope. Changed his mind. He is indeed going for Chewie, going for that elimination there. Alright. Shots ring out. He gets 2 hits. Unable to save any of them. Oh, looks like he put 2 of them on Chewie instead. Chewie now up to 8 wounds there. Alright, Death Trooper's going to activate. Yes, I am. I am in the 501st. Something I don't actually talk about all that often. I am indeed in the 501st. I have a Death Trooper as well as 2 clones. Oh, really? You're in the 501st. What kits? Nice. Have a Jawa. So you're a DZ. Good old denizens of the Empire. Alright. Roll up the Death Troopers. 3 hits so far. Rerolling the 3 that missed. Getting a singular hit in. Or a singular additional hit. So 4 total on Chewie. And that is curtains for Chewie. Denizen. I always forget how to pronounce denizen when it matters. But yeah, so you're a denizen of the Empire. Nice. Yeah, I have a TX, which is my Death Trooper, and then I have a CT and a CC. I have a Commander Gree and then a 501st clone. Alright, so beginning of turn 4 here. Down to very little left on the Rebel side. Only losing a singular activation on the Empire side. I hate to say it, but writing's kind of on the wall. Inferno Squad, yeah. I mean, depending on where you get your stuff from. If you get your tie kit from Waltz, it's not terrible. But, I mean, then the jumpsuit and everything else probably runs you a bunch, too. Looks like he's going for, explosion. Oh, no, he's going for lying in wait. I thought he was going to go for, the charge. So, Rebellious. So, Jyn Erso against charge. So, she's going to probably charge something. And with an enemy that activates, Jyn Erso gains suppression. Okay, so anytime that an enemy activates, she gains a suppression. To try and keep from getting shot up as she charges in. Interesting. Or she can perform a free move action. Interesting. That move action thing's actually kind of nice. So that can get her out of harm's way and set her up really nicely, depending on the terrain. Alright, so looks like Mitro is going to be first up. About to see what is possible. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 activations left. Sabine is not OP. Sabine is actually just very good. She is exceptionally good. She's not OP, though. I wouldn't say that there's anything that's actually OP in this game. Bosk probably teeters on it, but that's about it. Yeah, Tauntaun's in the new OP. Yep, thank you, Riha, for correcting me there. Yes, Tauntaun's OP. Alright, so Jyn. She's going to run out there. Is she going to charge? She can charge. She gets 2 actions. She likely is electing to keep her suppression. So effectively just trying to place her right outside of the, whatever you want to call this, the heavy terrain here. And then going to take the single speed move here. No, going for a shot, actually. Oh, because she's going to go with the free action move. I don't know if I'd do that, but okay. You won't be able to get the actual swing off with her baton, but I guess there's a point to it. Ooh, getting just a hit. It is 1 dead Stormtrooper, though. However, she is now in the open to Bosk. Well, not really. She does have the suppression. Does she have low profile, though? She does not. So that can be dangerous. That can be very dangerous. Bosk getting aim number 1. Having to guesstimate, because she will likely get her free action move. So go ahead and activate the white squad, I suspect. That way she cannot charge them. So they'll just back up out of range. Or withdraw, probably. Oh, so here will be the interesting thing. She will basically forever be able to continually become in combat with the commander here. Because even if they withdraw, she'll just speed 1 move into a new combat. Hoo-hoo. Blocking the 1 baton swing that she has. Apparently getting a charge off due to her free action move there. White still needs to activate. Alright, I had to wait for the train to pass there real quick. Bosk is not OP either. Bosk is very susceptible to things if you know how to properly deal with it. Ah, so it was activating this blue squad here, not the white squad. Again, firing at these guys and getting really good white dice. Getting 5 hits, 2 crits out of it. No cover at all. Taking out 3 out of the 4 with that shot. Down to, once again, just the unit commander. All he has left are unit commanders at this point. Very much yikes. Alright, pulling a trooper unit. Roll to see if they drop that suppression. He does not. So, singular activation of it, or singular action available here. This honestly is going to be a very decent place for a Dioxis charge next turn. Take out all 3 squads with a singular charge. Moving there, but within range 1. There he goes. Now he's within range 1 of it. Alright. Alright, pulling a trooper stack. Likely going to be blue here. Not even needing to move. Going to aim and fire at the lone dude. Oh my god, getting 2 crits in. And another hit, so it's going to be 3. But already dead. That lone dude ate it from the stormtroopers. Man, Luke's dice are just so hot. Alright. Looking like pulling the sniper token. Mitro's going to have a few choices here. But really none of it going to be all that effective at this point in time. Aim and fire at the Death Troopers is likely the best case scenario. Try and take out 1 or 2 more of the purple ones. Oh, I'm going for blue instead. Interesting. Aim and fire. getting a singular hit. Gonna need to reroll that white one. And he gets a nothing. So just the hit. Likely going to be ignored and just be suppression. Alright, Bosk getting his aim, but Luke needing to pull a token here. He gets a HQ unit, so it's going to be Veers. Veers at this point can actually roll up as well and get in the action. I don't know if he's going to have line of sight to anybody, but he can at least get close enough to capture the objective. Alright, moving forward there. Definitely won't have a shot anywhere there, but he gave a aim to purple, which is fine. Just do the singular move to get there. Let purple do the actual heavy lifting. And back to Mitro. Alright, pulling from the stack, he grabs a trooper token. He has his choice of unit leaders over here. Try and rally yellow. He does not manage to. Singular activation, or singular action, he's just going to shimmy forward a bit. Back to Jyn Erso's old spot to be within capture distance of this objective. Alright, and then back to Luke. Pulling the Special Forces. Looks like he's going to be activating purple. They arguably don't even have to move. Moving everybody so that they are in range. Well, not range, but that everyone can see. It's going to be a lot of shots coming in at this poor rebel trooper here. I imagine he's likely going to fire at the unactivated one, the brown one there. Would be my guess. That's why he moved everything all the way out here like he did. Especially with an aim at range 2. The overlapping targets here. I believe it's this attack button here. We'll see if Luke figures that out. Nope. I don't know if that's the one that Luke wanted. It is not. It is indeed the other one. There he goes. So yeah, Luke going for the one over here. The unactivated trooper is going to be heavy cover. He's going to have these 3 death troopers that can see him. He might be trying to split fire. And that's exactly what he's doing. Oh my god, Luke, stop rolling so good. Taking him out. And then pistol shots. Oh my god. Luke is on fire right now. Crit coming through. Needs a singular save on the one dude. And he blocks it. Lone survivor over here. Wow. Seriously, wow. All right, back to Mitro, drawing Chewbacca, who's dead. The lone surviving Pathfinder. You have to roll off 3 suppression. He manages to roll off 1, so he will get a singular action. To be the safest, he probably should have moved him here, where my mouse cursor currently is, next to the control tower, so that way people would have to wrap all the way around to shoot at him. But where he's currently at least gets him where he needs to be. And yeah, you could probably see him if you tried. Alright, rolling off some suppression here. He manages to roll off the suppression off of 2 of them, off of white. Looks like they are going to withdraw. Leaving Jyn Erso available to get shot at by blue. I assume taking an aim. Not terrible. Getting 4 dice to be re-rolled out of that. Jesus Christ. And rolls into 8 saves down to 6. But Jyn, of course, with her take cover or whatever it is, able to roll extra dice. Or danger senses. Wow. Even with danger senses, just gets completely gutted. Five wounds on Jyn. Yikes. 1 wound left. Bosk here, with all the aims in the world, just gonna take her out. Rolling right away into 2. First aim misses. Second aim gets another crit. He still has 8 or 6 more. And there you go. I mean, he doesn't even need to roll all of them. There he goes. He rolls all the crits. Jyn will automatically die because of Pierce. Well, no. She technically wouldn't. Because she can... If she rolls enough, she'll be fine. But, sadly, does not roll enough. Jyn Erso taking the last bullet there from Bosk, being eliminated in the process. All that's left is the snipers, a singular Pathfinder, and a singular Rebel Trooper over here. I would imagine there's not much left in this game. Mitro definitely played the best he could with a very janky list here. That was actually kind of really cool. If it had panned off, that very first shot was going to be massive. We'll go say hey real quick to them, and then we'll wrap it up. Where the hell is my Discord? There it is. Scroll up to their game, and hello.
Hey.
Figured I'd come check in real quick. I know it's going to be a very, very quick and easy post-game report. So first off, congrats, Luke. World champion taking down the champion of Jank.
Yeah, we're both playing some jank here.
The white dice between the two of you was night and day, I will put it that way. Like, absolutely night and day. that alpha shot coming out from the Pathfinders at the very beginning of the game, were you like deathly afraid of that, Luke, or were you just counting on odds being in your favor?
Yeah, that I was talking to LJ and my teammates earlier, and that was my biggest concern was the Alpha Strike. Um, I think I don't think I should have put the DTs over there. I should have probably even put them near my guard or spread my guard better around the corner here. But yeah, that was the my most concerning point there.
I
Um,
mean,
but then he only rolled 3 hits, and then I was like, all right, we're okay.
still lost two though, which was the impressive part. But yeah, the
Yeah.
the Alpha Strike of Doom, I thought for sure he was going to get at least 4, maybe 5 hits in. And if he had your dice, that would have been at least 2 squads of Death Troopers dead from that one Alpha Strike.
Yeah, there was one where I rolled like 10 hits or something.
Your Death Troopers in their long range attacks did not roll under 6 hits.
Yep, that's I think that's they were aiming, so I think that is like average, but yeah, it's still crazy the amount of dice that they can put out.
That and just your white dice back and forth have been fantastic. Where sadly
Yeah.
Mitros
Yes. The
were
dice
lacking.
were definitely
Oh, and
excited.
he left on us, sadly.
Yeah.
I can't even back my teammate up here. Oh, be right back. Okay, gotcha. So yeah, that basically evens it between your team and mine. I took on Talk Polite and took him out. You took on Mitro and took him out. Now it's going to come down to the rest of our teammates whenever they play. Feel like none of them have
so
scheduled their games at all, so that'll be interesting.
I think our one's playing sometime this week maybe. And then
That's up in the air.
Kevin is playing Wednesday, I think. That's what I
Gotcha.
heard last, but yeah. It's a good match so far, 1-1.
Well, so far so good. So Mitro, what's
Yes.
tell me your game plan here past the Alpha Strike, because the Alpha Strike's only going to get you so far. After that, what were you thinking?
In general, or
Well,
after the Alpha Strike in this particular game?
let's just say after the Alpha Strike, regardless of how the Alpha Strike panned out, what was going to be your next, like, what was your game plan from then on out? Or were you
Yes.
just at that point scrambling to respond to the fact that it didn't pan out how you wanted it to?
Well, in this particular game, there's always the risk. It's. I was telling Luke before you joined us in here that with this list, I generally know it's either going to go really well or really poorly right off of that Alpha Strike. There's ways to recover. Scrambling them and scooting them into more line of sight blocking terrain is the best way to preserve those guys. I think one of my biggest mistakes here was I left open some really clear line of sights to both the paths, even though they would get heavy cover, and the commandos down in that corner, and losing the bulk of both of those units so early really kind of destroyed any secondary plans I had. But the rest of this list is built around setting up Han, Jin, and Shui for that really powerful trust goes both ways turn.
Where everybody has teamwork that goes back and forth.
Exactly. And if I can get the right targets into my sights with that round, I can chip away pretty solidly. So that's the gist of the game plan after that.
Gotcha.
Go ahead.
No, keep going.
My second and third rounds, as you saw, Reckless Diversion follows the Alpha Strike to carry my boys into where they need to go and keep the attention off of them. And then I'm usually looking at thinking about a change of plans or if I'm in position for that trust goes both ways turn.
Gotcha. I hate to keep talking up our opponent here, but Luke did an absolute phenomenal job of putting all his units just outside of range 2 of Han when Han was already suppressed, and knowing that the odds of Han ditching 3 suppression was pretty low. So that was incredibly smart thinking and good checking on your ranges for that one, not giving Han that ability to just be able to walk in there and start doing gunslinger left and right.
Yeah, thanks. I definitely was checking that a lot. That's one of the biggest problems with Han is the suppression game. So, you got to watch out for that if you're playing with him or playing against him. Just keep that in mind, I guess.
Do you think you'll ever run this list seriously?
My list?
Yes.
I took it to Neo, actually. This is what I ran at Neo.
Oh,
I went 4-1, so not bad.
so it is
Um,
actually effective then.
yeah, I think it's pretty decent actually. Um,
Because an
you
8
know,
activation list does kind of scare me.
it does, but it's such an aggressive list. Um, you just gotta try to even out the activation count as quickly as possible, really. Um, because if the whole game, you're down 3 or 4 activations or whatever, then it'll start building on you. But if you can take out activations early and kind of even up the score, it'll do work. Um, the key is just keeping the Death Troopers alive, really. Um, so yeah, it's fun to play too. And the command cards, I love Krennic and Boss, man. It's
Yeah, they
just
do
so
pair incredibly well together, especially Death Troopers and Boss, because then you're putting upwards of 6 suppression on a single target if need be.
Yep, or 8 if it's Reptilian
Yep.
Rampage.
Yeah, you could
Uh,
effectively panic Sabine off the board turn 1.
yep.
Almost like I did that before. Yeah, so no. And I know that this is one of your standard lists with a couple tweaks, Mitro. Is that correct?
It is, yeah. The only tweak from the last couple times I've run this is I used to have some medics in there and two strike teams. I'm trying to plus up with the full commando squad. But the core of Hanjin, Chewie, and the Pathfinders is something I've been working on for a little while.
So what would you change in your current list to the next round based upon how you saw things going this time?
You know what? I think I haven't run enough iterations on this version yet to say that I should change it. I think my biggest changes would have been in some deployments,
Mm-hmm.
and I would have kept the commandos a little closer to Chewie for some more protection. Um, Having him guardian, Chewie kind of went all over the place with the guardians after the commandos got killed because
Yeah.
he could, I think prioritizing Chewie's guardian on the commandos. And also putting the Pathfinders in a better place to escape after their Alpha Strike would be what I'd actually change. I'm pretty happy with this setup on the list.
Gotcha.
I don't like 2 strike teams, and medics before kind of worked, but sometimes they don't matter.
So just minor tweaks, if any, but mostly in the turn 0 as opposed to the list build. Interesting. That said, I mean, it does seem like a very interesting list. I know that I played you in Invader League with a very, very similar list, but you were always putting Chewie way too far up and out in the open. It
Yeah,
seems now you've learned the way of the Chewie.
I have certainly against these powerful bounty hunters. I never underestimate the Trandoshan Wookiee grudge match. Yeah, there are things I've learned along the way. Early days, I used to put Chewie way too out front. I used to not really have a plan for the Pathfinders, and arguably I didn't have as good of a plan this time. But I got tempted by that juicy Death Trooper squad hanging out there.
I'm surprised you didn't take advantage of like the backfield. There were some nice deployment areas. You could have been directly behind the ice blue stormtroopers and the purple death troopers out in the open. Like I think you had deployed right next to the sandbags.
Yeah, absolutely. Had I gone back here, and I thought about that very seriously, and that probably would have been the right call, actually. What the reason I didn't was because one of the other lessons I've learned the hard way is I have a bad habit of getting Pathfinders panicked off the board when I leave them too far away from them.
Oh, makes sense. Yeah.
Yep.
And that being said, had I put him back there, even if they gotten panicked off the board, it would have meant he had to split his forces out to go after him, which could have given me a little more softness in the middle to take advantage of. But
yeah,
infiltration's a fun thing to learn.
I was looking out for it up here. I didn't even think about putting them back here. That would have been interesting.
I think that would have been the one Achilles heel that would have been made the game a lot more interesting in a whole different light. Luke would have been panicking all over the board.
Yeah. I'm not going to disagree on that one.
All right, and to correct you on your chance of what would you change in the list, the answer is Tauntauns. Because Jin and the Tauntonics, come on.
I'm bringing the Jin. The rest of the team is going to bring the Tauntaun.
I don't even know what those look like to me. They don't wear Stormtrooper armor, so...
Well, sorry. Yeah, that's a good point. I bring the gin. The rest of the team brings the tonics, and you bring our victories, Doug.
Don't put all the weight on my shoulders. Anyway, thank you for you two for letting me cover your game. I hope you guys had a great game. Coming up in about 15 minutes, I don't think Endless has his stream up yet, but Endless will be streaming. Let me find my damn schedule that I keep track of every single game. There we go. So coming up next is Mbahe Bin versus Artyom. Endless is covering that at about 11 o'clock, so in about 15 minutes. And then on Wednesday, we have Kinotooth versus Spirit of Fire. No one's currently covering that because that's at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm working at that time. 8:30, we have Madman Rambler versus Rain. Again, no one's assigned to that yet, but we'll find out. 9 o'clock, we have another match between the Jin and the Tonics and the Admin Menace with Kodak versus Riha. That'll be covered by Ben as well on his channel. And then Friday, we have Nerfly versus James Brett, covered by Nerfly. And that's in the morning, 8 a.m. Oh, man. Whew. And then 8 at night, we have Huntsman versus Beefcake. To be determined about covering that one. I might be able to swing that one, but who knows. I'll keep everyone updated. Just keep checking the Yavin Base Team League channel. Of course, thank you to all our sponsors. Thank you to our players. Follow everyone that does all the streamings, so that way you're always up to date, etc., etc. And everybody have a good night. And yeah, good luck in your Legion games. May all your hits be crits.
See you guys.
Thank you.